before going into detail, let me just first explain these 8 steps in brief. The first 2 are Yama and niyama. Yama is also in Hinduism the Lord of Death. It means that which you have to stop. A number of things which you have to stop doing in your life. And niyama means the opposite of death, which what do you have to keep alive in your life? What are the things you have to do in your life? So yama and niyama are 2 things that regard how you live. And they then prepare you for meditation. And that is very important. Yoga never stops. Yoga is not just about, the half hour or 1 hour we were talking about when you really go sit and try to meditate or whatever. It's also about having certain disciplines in life that allow you then in your meditation to go further. And in a sense, they are not just the beginning of Ashtanga Yoga. They are also very much the end of Ashtanga Yoga. When you go into the very deep meditation, at the end you could say of Ashtanga Yoga. Then you again come out, and then you have to practice these yamas and niyamas. So that, then it becomes real. Once you learn the technique, it's really not difficult if you have some time to go deep inside and feel fantastic. That's really not so difficult. That's there. That's, the golden lotus which is there waiting just for you to come. What is difficult is to bring it outside, to really keep it and, live it. That is yama and niyama. So in that way, yama and niyama are very important. Then, as I said, the third is asana. Asana comes from the verb aste, which means to sit. So asana literally means the posture in which you sit. And there are many other postures that are also part of asana, but they are less essential than the sitting posture. Without comfortable sitting posture, how can you meditate? It's quite impossible. People often say or ask, I can't do this, I can't sit like that. Can't I meditate on a chair? And, well, of course you can, but how far? In meditation, at some point, body consciousness is lost. If then you are sitting on a chair, you will fall off. You need to be in a posture that stays, even if you are no longer consciously holding it. So, that is asana. Not an easy one, especially for people who have been sitting on chairs their whole life. It's not easy, but can be learned. The next one is pranayama. Pranayama is regulation of the life force, prana, which mostly happens through breathing exercises. Why is that important? Well, it is important because the fluctuations that naturally occur in your life force, in prana, will always bring fluctuations in your mind. If you stop breathing, then your mind will stop. To learn how to stop breathing or to breathe very slowly is a great way to get some calmness up here, to keep your thoughts calm. So in that way, pranayama also a very great help and somewhat essential. We will talk more in detail if you want to advance in meditation. These are the 4 outer steps, you could say. Right? This is still having very much outside on the outside. Then the 5th step is taking you inside. It's called Pratyahara, which means basically withdrawal of the senses. Your ears are still hearing, but you are no longer listening. Your eyes you can close, so that's easy. But even if your eyes are closed, still some light show will go on, some light will filter through. So still also there you have to learn not to look. So that is basically Pratyahara. Next one is dharan. Okay, these are a lot of words. If you want later, I can write them on the blackboard. You get them a little more right. Dharan, which means concentration, focusing the mind. If you cannot stop thinking about this and that and such, then at least you can try to think only on one thing and keep the mind focused on this one thing. And while you are in that phase of dharan, of concentration, this is what you are trying to do. And when you are actually succeeding in doing that, in being focused only on one thing, then you enter the next phase automatically, which is dhyan, and which is truly meditation. To be meditating means to be absolutely one-pointed, to be absolutely focused on one thing only. If you then can keep that up long enough, your ego, your false identity, will no longer get any input. Because that input, it needs words, it needs stories. Our false identity is made up of stories. So then automatically the ego will drop off, which means you enter the last stage, which is called Samadhi. Samadhi is absorption. You are still meditating, you are still focusing on this one thing, but you are no longer doing it. You don't have the feeling that you are there doing something, trying something. This something is happening all by itself. And then within that Samadhi, you still have many stages. We will talk about it when we get to that. But so these are the 8 steps of Ashtanga Yoga. A very practical, methodical way to bring anybody into deep meditation. If this is done and sufficient time is there given to each of these steps, then automatically Samadhi will follow. And the more you do it, the more easy it becomes, and the less time you need, and so on, as we talked about before. But so this is very different from Jnana Yoga, where they simply tell you, stop. You can't do it, shut up. No, very different. This is a much more, you could say, technical approach, coming through the understanding of all the obstacles that are there, all the things that prevent us from stopping. And maybe this is a class I can also one time give, but to tell it briefly, these obstacles actually concern our different bodies. The name bodies may not always seem so clear, but when I explain it, it will be, you have the physical body. This is the first one which will take you out of your meditation. When the knees start hurting, and ears start hurting, and the back start aching, then you're thinking about that. No? That's the first one. The second is your energetic body, your pranic body, as they call it. The body of light, or whatever you want to call it. As I said, which fluctuates and which must be brought into balance. Otherwise it will take you out of it. And then there is the mental body, which is an even more subtle body than the pranic body. The body of thoughts, which in itself also is very unstable, must be brought under control. And then there is the conceptual body, the causal body, as it is also called. The body with all your concepts, with all your ideas, with all your memories. And this also must be brought under control. And that only happens in the last stage, Samadhi, which is why Samadhi takes quite a long time. Bringing you finally into your most essential body, the body of bliss, as it is called, Anandamaya Kosh, where then you can stay for a long time and reach enlightenment. That's basically, the problem and the solutions.